When you are doing your water bath canning, you have to make sure everything is washed in hot soapy water, and then just turn them upside down and let them dry, drip dry, and make sure all of your lids and everything you're going to be using is all washed. Everything like this needs to be washed in hot soapy water. This is the stock pot I will be making the chili in, and make sure that your canning pot is also washed with hot soapy water, including the ring on the inside. And if you don't have a ring on the inside, just make sure you put a clean towel on the inside so that the bottom of your jars doesn't get too hot on the bottom of the canning pot, because it will get hot, because a lot of stuff calls for three hours of rolling boil. So make sure everything is washed in hot soapy water. Everything that you're going to be using, safety first. Okay, so now I've poured out all the hot soapy water, and now it is time for its rinse. So I have a kettle of hot water. I will pour that in there, and it will be too hot for me to touch, but I will let it sit in there for just a little bit till I can put my hands in and rinse it all out. Okay, so that water will sit in there till it has cooled off enough that it's still hot, but that I can rinse it all out and then go from there. I've added a little extra virgin olive oil to a skillet, and I am going to add 2 medium-sized onions. And when I say medium size, this is about the size that I'm using, 2 of them. And to the onions, I will add 4 cloves of garlic, minced, diced, however you want to squish it. So I will use these 4. I think that's, yeah. So I'll use these 4. Okay, so 2 of these garlic cloves had little places on them, and I cut them out, so I went ahead and added these other 2 little pieces to it. It's going to go in with the onions, fry it up, and then I'm going to put 2 pounds of ground beef and brown it up. Okay, so my skillet here is not very big, and I won't have room to put my hamburger meat in it. So when this is done, I'm going to put this in the stock pot, and then I will use this same skillet for the ground beef. Okay, so the onions and the garlic is in the stock pot. So now I will brown the ground beef and then put it in the stock pot when it is finished. Okay, so while the meat is still cooking, this is the second time I am cleaning the kidney beans. This is 16 ounces of kidney beans. And these will go in the stock pot after I have strained it. Okay, and the water that I strained it with, I have a filter on my faucet. And the hamburger meat looks like it is almost done. It is thoroughly cooked, but not overcooked where it's going to be dry. And I'm going to keep all of that liquid because it will just add to the juices for the chili. This is fixing to go into the stock pot now. Okay, so this is what's in it so far. Next, I will add 1 quart of tomato sauce and 1 quart of diced tomatoes. Okay, so that's what it looks like so far. I'm going to put 1 tablespoon of brown sugar, and I'm going to add some water. I'm going to add, I have a quart jar here, but I will probably just put like 3/4 of it. And yeah, I put that much, and I'm going to save the other part until I start put it on the heat, start cooking it for a while, and then I'll see if I need more or less. I am going to add, now you add whatever season. Now anything that I used in here, you can add more if you want or less if you want. You know, make up the difference with something else. You can add whatever spices you want. I'm going to add salt, pepper, chili powder, Italian seasoning, parsley, and oregano. And I'll put those to taste. So I'm not going to say how much I'm going to put. I'll just put some, and then I'll taste it in a little while and see if I need more. Same way with the water. Okay? Okay, so I've got all my dried herbs. I will stir it around. And I have this pot sitting in the sink where I could look down in it, because once I put it on the stove, it's going to be hard for me to like video it. And when it's done, then I will show me putting it in the jars. And the way that it feels right now, I can already tell I'm going to need some more water. So I will put the rest of the water that was in the quart jar. Because as it heats, some of this water will evaporate, but I'm just going to simmer it on slow, because I don't want to scorch anything on the bottom. Okay, so it is ready and steaming. And I did taste it, and it tastes just fine. Now I did end up adding another 1/2 quart, which a pint. I ended up adding another pint of water because I felt it was too thick. And so while I am jarring this, I will put the water bath can on to start boiling. I will also add about a fourth to a half of vinegar to the water in the canner, because we have hard water here, and if I don't do that, when I put a fourth the other day, actually I put less than a fourth, the hard water was still on the jars, so I had to wash them off. And so this time, well, when I did the potatoes, I put between a fourth and a 1/2 cup, and that worked fine. So I'm going to do the same thing. So I will start jarring these up, and I'll be right back. Okay, so this is what they're going to look like. I've got out 10 jars because I'm not sure how many jars I'm going to need. I have more jars if I need more jars. The next step after putting it in the jar, I put it up just to the neck here, and then I will use this to debubble it, which means just go around like this, and this will bring up any bubbles that is in it. And then I will show you the next step. Okay, so then you just use the white vinegar, put it on a cloth or a paper towel, and you want to run it around the rim to clean anything that has gotten on the rim. See, like that. Want to make sure that rim is clean so you can get a good seal. And then you just get the ring and the seal and just put it on, and you just want to finger tighten it just like that. 2-finger tighten. Okay, now I also want to give a shout out if anybody wants to know exactly the procedures to do. I don't have room to show it all together. I have to do it like in clips because I have no room in my kitchen, so I have to do it this way. But if you want to see someone do it like all like fluently, there's 2 channels. One is Make It Make, that's all one word, M-A-K-E-I-T, M-A-K-E, Make It Make, that's one channel. The second channel is at Homesteading with the Zimmermans, and check out those 2 channels if you want to start doing this. It's up to you. Again, this is not USDA approved. I don't follow USDA, but I take all of the precautions and everything. So anyway, I'm going to follow this step all the way through. I'll be back. Okay, so I ended up 11 jars, and I think that's all that's going to fit inside the canner, inside the water bath canner. That's what they look like. And enough for another one, and then a little left over, but I don't think I can get 12 jars in my canister, so I will go ahead and put this in a bowl, and I will start eating some for my lunch / supper. Okay, so I've got the water in here starting to get warm or hot, because in order for those jars of the chili is hot, so the water here has to be about the same temperature. I mean, you don't have to check the temperature, but you don't want to put it in a hot glass and cold, or the other way around. So I have a glass of the white vinegar. It's actually a ½ cup, and I'm just going to pour this in, and it will help with my hard water so that it doesn't get all over the canning jars in the process. Okay, so all of the jars are in. 11 jars fit. I don't think I could get a 12 in. It'd be too tight, I think. I really don't like this rack in here because it does have a tendency, as it starts getting a rolling boil, some of the jars want to like tip just a little bit. There's not enough room to fall over, but they just kind of like want to tip. So I may next time just take that rack out and put a towel down so that I can just sit the jars on top of the towel. And so it's going to take 3 hours, water bath for 3 hours. And the 3 hours does not start until this water ends up going to a rolling boil. So I'm going to cover it. Actually, I'm going to add a little bit more water because it's just right over, and I'll add more water, and then once it starts getting that real rolling boil going, then that's when I start my time for the 3 hours. Okay, so I've got it covered, and I'll check it in about 10 minutes and see if it is doing a rolling boil. If it does, then I will start my 3 hour time. If not, I'll give it a few more minutes and then check it again. But it has to be a rolling boil and boiling in order to start your time for the 3 hours. So, okay, now it's at a rolling boil. So now my 3 hours start now. Okay, so I have recently turned off the heat, and now they're just sitting in there for a little bit to cool off somewhat before I take them out and sit them on a towel for overnight. And overnight, the lids will seal. Okay, so I have taken the chili jars out of the canner, and they will sit here overnight, and in the morning I will check, make sure they're all sealed good, and date them, and then put them on the shelf. I have just taken off the rings. Now when you take them out, let them sit overnight, the rings will come off very easily because they also loosen up when they're being canned. So just to let you know, that is a normal thing for them. And then you want to check and see if they're sealed. So you only pick them up by the rim real gently, just in case it's not sealed. And you can see that they're sealed. I have already checked them on. They are sealed. Now, what you see here, like this white, that's hard water deposit. My water here is hard water. So I'm going to take some white vinegar. I am going to put it in a bowl, and I'm going to wash these with the vinegar, and it will take that right off. So I've got the vinegar inside the bowl, and I will just soak this washcloth, wipe it all off like that, wipe around all of the rim and the glass. It will be washed. I'm not doing a very good job because I'm trying to do this with one hand, so I'm going to turn this off, wash it, all of them down, and I'll be back. And then after you wash them, you just get you a towel and you start drying them off, which I am fixing to do here. Okay, so the next step is just to mark them, date them, and put them on the shelf till you're ready to eat them.